Hello, everyone.
Hello again.
Hello.
Hello. And welcome to another episode of
This is the Circle Podcast.
My name is James.
It is your host, Philip.
my name is Daniel.
Like always, I'm here with my best friends.
All right, so today will be a pretty fun episode.
I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways, goodbye.
Goodbye, party people.
See ya.
Welcome back to the Circle Podcast, episode 101. Sorry for the hiatus the last 2 weeks, but we deserved a break. We needed it, and yeah.
And this is our business. We can do whatever the fuck we want, all right?
That too.
Yeah, like you said.
That's facts.
Before I let my co-hosts introduce themselves, we are going to go on a new schedule. We're going to be recording on Sundays and releasing somewhere between Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Somewhere in between there. Whenever I feel like get to editing it.
Give or take.
But yeah, that's going to be the new schedule. Hope you can take that the way it is. But that's the way it is. That's how it's going to be, at least until we have to switch it up again. But that's the new schedule. My co-hosts, if they want to introduce themselves, take it away.
Hello, world. My name is James. Welcome back. That's
and
it.
my name is Andrew. Welcome back. I'm sorry I got so angry in the beginning. You guys didn't deserve that. But I'm actually happy we're, recording again.
Yeah. Feels good being down here.
Yep.
Got to be honest, though. When I got here, I had no ambition to do this. It's kind of one of those things. It's like once you stop doing it, it's just like,
hard to get back into it.
Yeah, but I'm glad we're back down here. Gonna get back on a normal schedule, hopefully.
Yep.
Hey, man, we did it for almost 100 weeks in a row, all right? Like, it's fine to feel that.
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah. So I said almost.
Yeah. Yep. No, yeah. Fun to take a break. I didn't prepare anything, by the way. Like, I don't have a
Segment?
I don't have a segment today.
I was going to say, I feel like that's why you're drinking whiskey, huh? Just get yourself a little, loose.
Loosey-goosey.
For this topic?
Get a little blood in your head.
Yeah, I want to explain things not like a fucking psycho and not sound too crazy when I explain things. And I also don't want to censor myself too much, And plus, I wanted to try this whiskey. But, yeah, I mean...
I'm not going to lie. Part of me really wants to just lay down right now.
Really?
And just record while I'm laying on the floor.
By all means.
I might. So if I do that...
If one of you guys want to take over leading us into this topic, and then I'll just be the guest, I guess.
I'll lead it in, because I think it was an interesting... not interesting, but it was just funny perspective.
I'd really like to get this guy's opinion.
Yeah, I was going to say,
a lot of the shit that I said.
You were there.
Well, I mean, first off, when you had texted us...
These legs,
when you had texted us before... okay, well...
Why don't we just tell...
Phil had an experience with shrooms.
Took some
so he
shiitakes
texted us... Shiitakes. He texted us before he did it, and he's like, I'm doing shrooms today. I was like, cool,
Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck on your trip. Travel well.
Happy trails.
Uh-huh.
And he did.
Not all those who wander are lost and such.
He did, though. I was like, oh, I'm surprised. But anyways, he ended up texting us again while he was on them. Or, yeah, you texted us and you said, this is what you said. I'll bring it up so I don't butcher it.
I would like to explain why I said it, too.
Okay, what you said? Okay, I remember.
Real quick. So I was on a date at the time watching a movie, and I get a phone call. And how, I have to... So at our place, I get the phone calls for the gate. So I thought it was the gate.
Uh-huh.
So I look, and I see it's Phil. I'm like, oh, this dude's tripping. And then the girl with me, she's like, oh, is everything okay? I'm like, yeah, my friend's just on mushrooms. She just laughed. She's like, okay.
So what you had said was, I wish you guys were here more, or something along the lines of that. Do you remember that?
Is that what you said?
No.
You don't remember that? Or it might have been on Snap.
I said I wish you guys were here.
Yeah, I think it was just that. I wish you guys were here right now or something like that.
No, it was like you guys aren't... You said you aren't here physically You said something along the lines of that. I don't know if it's
Where was
Snap.
this? Where was this?
I think I know what you're talking
Do you
about.
remember? Was it through text or Snap?
Oh, I know what it was. I was tripping balls, and I said, I wish you guys were here, not physically, but mentally.
No, you said I wish you guys were here more. That's what you said. More.
I disagree, my friend.
This is what that Philip said, fellas, I'm tripping. And then Andy, you sent that fucking rainbow butterfly,
which I feel like was an asshole thing to do because I was not tripping that hard, and then when I looked at it, I looked up, was like, "What? This thing is like carrying on."
God.
Okay, my bad. You said I wish you guys were here, and then I laughed and I said, "How are you feeling, my man?" And then you said not like physically, but more mentally.
I think that's what I was trying to carry on.
To?
I was trying to carry on the first message, and then Andy sent his message, so I feel like it threw it off. But I meant, I wish you guys were here mentally, not physically. Like
in the moment,
like tripping like I was.
Oh, okay.
I took it as like we weren't there, or like you were saying that we weren't there for you, or something like that.
No,
I took that as when you asked how are you feeling. I thought you were saying I'm feeling it more mentally than physically.
No,
that's how I took that.
No, because
we all interpreted this way differently.
Well, when you're tripping and trying to explain things, it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard. Even now that I'm sober, it's hard. But I was tripping balls and I was feeling great. And I really wanted everyone I knew to, one, know I was tripping balls, and two, to do it with me and like experience how great it is. You know, so I texted you guys. I texted, other friends and all that. But I was like, I really wanted people to be on it. Yeah, it was great. And I think the cool thing, too, I even said this that night, is that the other friend that I did it with, it was weird because I feel like I can sense that he was also tripping. Like, there was like an aura around him that made it seem like me and him were on the same kind of vibe. And you were sitting right there, and I could just like, it was just like you were normal. And he was like radiating some kind of aura out of him, and it was just... It was weird, man, because it really felt like I was connected to him. Yeah, mentally.
It seemed like you guys. You guys were like on the same wavelength, and I could see that.
How much did you take?
We took an eighth.
Okay. What did it taste like? Because I've heard it tastes like shit.
My friend was struggling. He was struggling to eat it. Dude, I threw that shit back like no problem.
Like, did you really like? Do you mean like you tasted it, it didn't taste bad, or like
I ate one,
you got it down quick?
No, I ate one. I was like, this ain't shit, like I can do this, and then I just like threw the rest of my mouth.
What did it taste like?
It just tasted bland. Like it didn't really taste anything. If anything, it just like was really chewy, but like, and the pain in the ass thing is like I got some stuck in my teeth, and I started freaking out a little because they didn't have any floss or a toothpick or anything. And I was thinking, like, I do not want to start tripping, and then like this piece is stuck there, and then later on when I go home, this piece like goes down and I start tripping again. Like, I don't want that. So I was like fighting it for like 20 minutes trying to get this piece out of my teeth. But it was funny too because I was like, oh dude, like how much should we do? And no, I asked him that, and I was like, well, how much did you do the first time you did it? And he was like, the first time I did it, which was years ago, he was like, I did an eighth. I was like, oh, okay, well, how much do you want to do? He's like, if you want, we can do an eighth. And then I look over to his girlfriend, and I'm like, is an eighth a lot? And she's like, doing that, like, and I was like, don't listen to this guy, because this guy was in the background, like, just, like, telling her no, like, all that. And she was like, if I was you, I would take, like, a little and then do more if you want to. And I was like... my friend was like calling me a bitch. I was like, you know what? I ain't no bitch. Let's do this.
I feel like that's like normal dosage.
I thought that was a normal dosage, but I guess I don't know.
I feel like I've heard people say that. They drop like an eighth of shrooms.
Well, before that, he was saying that he only did half that. He was only doing half that. So I was just like,
is that what a teenth is? A 16th?
Yeah, it would be a 16th. Half and an eighth. 16th. Yeah. And then we're going to do it, and then he starts freaking out a little. I'm like, oh, so this is a lot, huh?
Saw a video that day. Well, you have to take into account too. It was like a certain like strain of shroom too, right?
Yeah,
that someone gave him.
Yeah,
it was like
a strand he had never tried yet.
I think it was like a little more powerful strand or something like that.
Yeah,
that's what he was saying.
And he started tripping like within the first 15 minutes. Like
15?
Yeah, there's a
Oh,
7-Eleven right next door, and as soon as we walked out the door, like he said, colors were hitting him out of nowhere. He's like, dude, this is crazy. And then within like the first 45 minutes, that dude started freaking out.
Really?
Yeah.
He was freaking out?
Yeah. Okay, so it hit him within the first 15. It didn't take me till 2 hours. We took it at 4 o'clock, right?
Okay.
15 minutes, he's already tripping. Around like 6:30, 7 o'clock, that's when like I was just like, what is going on right now? You know, like
shit.
things would happen. I'm like, oh, this is interesting, right? But it was freaking me out a little because at first it was a good trip for him, and then it got really bad really quick.
Really?
Yeah.
In what way?
So he was enjoying it, the colors and all that, you know, and then it slowly became like, whoa, like this is intense, you know, and then it slowly became like, this is intense, you know, like what is going on right now? And then slowly but surely, like he was just pacing back and forth, just freaking out, you
Where
know.
were you guys at that point?
In his apartment.
Oh, okay.
Right? And it was funny too because at one point he takes his shirt off and he totally has a dad bod. He's just standing there with his belly all out. He's like, dude, I don't know. And we were watching Avatar, you know, the one with the blue people.
The movie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he was freaking out from the movie. At one point he was all like, dude, turn this shit off. I was like,
That's
come on, this is a
funny.
great movie. You know, he was laying down in front of the AC, like, you know, he was having a bad trip. And
He wasn't like screaming or
no,
like talking to
no,
himself though, or
no.
anything? Okay.
No, definitely not. Because
Okay.
at the point where it got really bad is like he was gone. Like
He was just like quiet, or what do you mean?
quiet and like not there, like not present. Like his body was there,
just like
but
stuck or something in his
I
head.
remember texting one of my friends and I'd be like, this dude looks lost. Like not like as in like he doesn't know where he's at. Like
Oh,
he
okay.
doesn't know who he is.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It literally looked like someone,
This guy's going through ego
this
death or
dude,
something.
someone,
That's what I was telling him.
someone grabbed his consciousness and just plucked him out of his body. Right.
Mm.
And he would just sit there and just be like staring. And I remember telling him like, dude, I've known you since like 2nd grade. And I don't think I've ever seen you like this. And at one point he kept asking, oh, what would happen? I had started to trip a little, and I was thinking to myself like, oh, I'm starting to understand, right? So what it seemed like to me is like this dude was going into a forest and he would be coming back out, you know, like that's the trip. To me, that's what it seemed like. This dude was going into it, into the trip, and then coming back out and wondering what the fuck happened when he came out. So yeah, it seemed like he would go into it and then he'd come back out and be like, what happened? And I'd be like, dude, we took some shrooms, you know?
Oh, like that? Like he didn't remember
Yeah.
that he took shrooms?
No, yeah. He'd be like,
Holy
what
fuck.
happened? And I'd be like, dude, we took some shrooms and you're tripping balls right now. And he'd be like, and then he would think about it. He'd be like, but I'm okay, right? I'm like, yeah, you're good. He'd be like, okay. He'd be like, so what happened? Like literally like that. He asked
He's
what
like 10-second Tom.
He asked what happened probably like, I would say like 30 times.
Holy fuck.
And there was a moment too where his girlfriend went to go get food because I wasn't tripping too crazy and I was hungry, so I asked her to get sushi. She left and that dude asked me, like sitting just like this, he kept asking me, he's like, but I'm okay, right? And I'll tell him like, yeah, dude, you just took some shrooms and you're tripping. Remember when we said we weren't going to fight the high, you know? He'd be like, oh yeah. They're like, but I'm good, right? And I was like, yeah, you're good. It was bad, man. It was bad. And
after the 6th time, I would have just been like,
dude, it was
Oh,
fucking
bro, you're dying.
oh my god, stop doing that, dude. Stop doing that. He's like, what am I doing? Stop doing that.
It was. I didn't want to be that guy. And at one point, he asked.
That would have been a dick move.
Yeah, at one point, he asked. He's like, the baby, you know, to his girlfriend. His girlfriend, right? And his girlfriend was like, oh my god, you left her at school.
Oh, that's fucked up.
And I was like, don't do that to that man. You know, like you're going to scar him. And now every time she goes to school, he's going to freak out that he forgot her or some shit. Don't do that, you
Yeah.
know? Like, I understand. Like, it could be damaging. You know, don't fuck
Yeah.
with someone like that.
damn, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was telling. So I got there. And Napoleon just looked exhausted, bro. He just looked like he went through some shit. Ah, fuck.
Were we trying not
My
to
bad.
say names?
Well, it is what it is.
oh,
I'm sure he won't mind because he was actually trying to like convince me to have an episode of us tripping on shrooms.
Oh, on the episode?
Yeah.
oh, jeez.
While I was tripping, I was thinking to myself, I was like, I would be down to do a podcast right now.
That
Like,
would be
yeah.
interesting.
Shrooms.
That would be very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm down.
God, fuck, what was I saying?
So
Oh,
you
when
got
when I
there?
got there,
Let me text him and ask him.
when
If
I
he cares?
Huh? If he cares, yeah.
Oh, okay.
when I got there, he just looked like fucking exhausted. You know, like he went through some shit. Like he went through on a long journey, and he just came back, and he's like,
came back from like a
he's
15-mile
yeah,
hike.
he's like, you know, just sitting there like.
That's funny.
And he was still going through it. He was still like tripping when I got there, and I was like, "Fuck!" I was like, "You guys are crazy." But I love being. I was telling him like I wanted to be there, and I make it a point to like whoever is doing shrooms that I know around me, I want to be there because I feel like the perspectives and like the things that come out of people's mouths is like fucking. It's weird. Like it's just a different viewpoint on things. You know, I've been around it maybe like 3 or 4 times now. But
did they say anything that was like weird?
So he was like,
Hold on. Before we get to the good conversations we were having, I want James, ask me any questions you want to ask before we get into that, because I feel like what I said or what we said that night can spew into like a good 2 or 3 hours of conversation.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, we can just get to it.
You don't have any like questions at all?
Well, like I have general questions.
Like what?
So like, because I feel like on movies they always paint it like a huge visual thing, right? So like, what were you seeing?
So for me, I still felt very sober in my consciousness. You know, like I still felt there, but I also noticed I was having like multiple conversations with myself that I didn't even know were happening.
Okay.
Like
so
it was like
visual.
It definitely was. It definitely was. Like there was. I remember telling my friend's girlfriend that like there's movies that depict, you know, people on shrooms, and I understand now where that comes from because I'm seeing it right now. You know, like it's definitely happening. I remember. Oh, this is one thing that I think was the coolest part for me was that while it started to happen, the sun was setting, right, and the back door was open, and the sunlight was reflecting off a tree. And it just was radiating, dude. It was radiating so bright, and it felt like nature was calling me, right? And this was around the time that Avatar was on, right?
Okay.
And, you know, Avatar is a fucking great movie. It's beautiful, you know. Like, they do a great job of trying to make it seem like that's a real world.
Yeah.
While I was tripping, it felt like real nature was telling me that this is real over here, and this is not. Like, this is artificial. Like, it was a little bit darker. It wasn't as vibrant, you know, but it felt like nature was calling me and telling me to go outside. So I stepped out, and dude, when I looked at the trees, it looked like they were like alive. They were moving in a way that I've never seen before, and it looked like they were breathing. It was crazy.
Oh shit.
And I just remember just like looking at his girlfriend and be like, do you see this? Like, what the hell is going on right now? And I just remember there's multiple times where like things would happen, and I would just be like, this is interesting. Like, I didn't know my brain was capable of doing such things, you know?
fucking fruit flies, man.
And the very first time I realized that the trip was coming is I was talking to everyone. Like, I was the only one talking. Everyone was listening. And I was like looking over this way where the back door is, and I was talking, and then it felt like someone smacked my eyeball. Like it literally like felt like my right eyeball just got smacked, and I was just like, what the fuck was that? You know, and everyone started cracking up. And I was like, no, that was a little creepy. Like, it literally felt like someone just like, And my eyeball just like twitched down to the left, and I was like, what the fuck was that? Like, oh, this is interesting. What's going on right now?
What the hell?
And it slowly felt like the walls were breathing, and the shades, dude. The shades were like definitely reminding me that I was tripping.
I think the most accurate representation of people being on shrooms came from Midsummer. I've heard a lot of people who've done, like even online, who've done shrooms.
So that
like
was
say
like,
that things were breathing, and that like
you do remember that, yeah.
they depicted in Midsummer, and I think that was.
I would love to watch that movie all the way to see now.
But
But definitely like the movie depictions, I see where it comes from now.
okay.
And there was times I was thinking about movies, and then my mind would create like the universes that they come from. Like, I thought about the Matrix, and then as soon as I thought about it, like coding was coming down in my vision.
What the heck?
I swear, dude. Like the Matrix
fuck?
coding, yeah, it was
Yeah.
coming down in my vision. I was like, oh, okay. I see what's going on here.
What the fuck?
Fucking hell, Jesus.
Damn.
Yeah. The other thing too, remember how they say not to look at yourself while tripping balls?
Mm-hmm.
I threw that shit out the door. I'm like, no, we're doing this. And I remember I went to the restroom. The thing about shrooms, it fucks up your stomach, dude.
I've
Yeah.
heard some people like throw up from it. Some people will get diarrhea or like the shits.
That's one thing. My friend, he was definitely trying to vomit that shit out. That's how intense it was getting, right? I felt like in his mind, he was thinking like, I need to get this thing out of my body.
Yeah.
Right? So he goes over to the trash can. I even have the recording. By the end of it, he starts puking. I'm like, all right, we're going to turn this off. But he starts vomiting. But it was fucking up my stomach, and I was like, oh, I gotta shit. Like 2 or 3 times I was like, I gotta shit. And I would go, and like I was just constipated, you know, like I couldn't get it out. And I would wash my hands, and then finally when I was in like the peak of my trip, I looked in the mirror and my pupils were fucking massive.
They're huge.
Massive. And I think that's what tripped me out, is because, you know, growing up you were always told that if you do these drugs that like that's one of the side effects, right? Is your pupils get large. You hear that, but you never imagine what you would look
how
like.
Big.
Yeah, what you would look like with your pupils being large. And I remember seeing them and be like, "Whoa, holy shit!" Like I look like Mosh. Like, you know how big Mosh's eyes are? That's how big they were. Like you literally could barely see the brown in my eyes.
Just straight pupil.
Yeah, and I thought that was a pretty cool thing. The other thing too is when I would look at my phone, when I'd be texting, it looked like super animated, like straight out of a movie, like a cartoon. And I'm like, oh, this is so fucking cool right now, you know? And the other thing that I began to notice before Andy showed up is that I would cry. I was crying all night.
Really?
Yeah, but not like sobbing, but like...
Just like tears?
Like my eyes were super watery and tears were just like coming down my face and my nose would be running. And I'd be like, why the fuck am I crying right now? This doesn't make sense, you know? Like, I was so, like, oblivious to me crying. And so I would feel, like, little snot coming down my nose. I'd be like, what the fuck is going on right now? And then I noticed Napoleon. Oh, fuck, I said his name again. Yeah, he was crying, too. And he couldn't explain why, right? And then at one moment when Andy, like, later in the night showed up, I went to the restroom. And I was on my phone and I was watching a video. I remember sitting there looking around the bathroom, and it felt like the walls were kind of talking to me, and like the video was like beautiful, right? I was like, man, this is fucking beautiful right now. And I realized I was crying again. I'm like, that's what it is. Like subconsciously, I believe everything around me is beautiful, and that's why I'm crying. Or that's the reasoning I'm giving it, you know, is that I just subconsciously thought everything was beautiful, and I was just crying from it.
Interesting.
Yeah. And, yeah, it was really cool, like having that like uncontrollable aspect of looking at life like that. I remember the drive home. I was in the passenger seat, and I was just looking around, and I was just like, why do I take all this for granted? You know, even like simple, you know, lights on parking garages and the moon and all that. I'm like, why do I take all this beauty for granted? Like, yeah, it's man-made, but at the same time too, like there's a beauty to this, you know. I was just like, this is amazing, you know.
That's good, right? That's a great perspective.
Yeah.
I definitely had a great trip. I had a great trip.
I got there, and then Napoleon looked fucking exhausted.
Are we just dropping his name? Like,
oh fucking hell, Jesus Christ!
I texted him. He hasn't replied. If anything, I'll just edit it.
I keep forgetting.
Yeah, we're only 25 minutes in, so I can fix it.
you could filter that much.
Yeah.
And
all right, so you get there.
Yeah, and they were just tripping, and I was like, man, I am not like on the same like existence.
Yeah.
For these guys. And then he was like, "You want to smoke?" I was like, "Done." I was like, I got to get somewhere.
I need something.
I need something
Try to meet
because
them halfway.
I know we're gonna talk, and like I'm just gonna be like, "What the fuck are you guys talking about?" Right? So and then we start smoking, and I'm like, "All right," like you know, I get pretty high, and I'm like, "Okay, this is, you know, this works." You know, I'm looking at these guys. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm still not on the same level as them, but things make sense, a little more sense." And then we just start talking about conspiracy theories.
Oh no!
And then we just go down like a fucking rabbit hole of I don't really remember. Or like so one of the conspiracy theories that we talk about is the fact that mountains used to actually be big trees. I don't know if you heard of that one. What's it called? You know what
So
theory's called?
there's
I
a
haven't heard that
there's a
conspiracy
theory
theory.
out there
Uh-huh.
that have you ever seen a petrified tree?
Yeah.
That's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
They just like look like solidified rocks, right?
Mm.
There's mountains that actually look like petrified trees. So there's a theory out there that there's trees that massive, and that's actually, since they gave off so much oxygen, that that's kind of hinting towards the stories in the Bible of people living to be 200-300 years old is because of those trees, and then we are able to breathe that much oxygen and live that long.
Mm.
Yeah, and
Interesting.
we got into talking about that. I don't know why though. I
Me
don't remember.
neither.
Yeah,
And I was just like, yeah. I mean, you and Napoleon were getting more into it than I was. I
Again?
was just sitting there. I'm sorry, dude. It's hard not to say that dude's
it's all right.
fucking name.
Yeah, it's all right. If he says it's cool, then I don't have to do any
Yeah.
editing, and then if I do, then
But yeah, you and him were just like, I was just sitting there listening. But one thing that you had said that kind of stuck with me is that when you were drinking water, or like you were drinking water out of a water bottle, and you were saying that, damn it, I don't want to butcher it. You were just saying that the fact that water came from like a stream, or like the fact that water came from somewhere natural just felt like the truth to you.
yeah,
And I was like, it was a different perspective. And I was like,
Mm.
yeah.
it's interesting.
I heard this before I started tripping. Was that that if you get natural spring water, there's something to it that helps open up your third eye. And that if you notice that whenever I've noticed it, that sometimes when I drink spring water, that I get some kind of headache in my head, and that's because it's something different that your body's filtering in, and that it's kind of expelling all the bad water that you've had in you, right?
Mm.
And that's something about tripping, is that I told Andy there's things that I'm coming to like realize, and there's things that I'm coming to accept as truths.
Mm.
And I don't remember the things that we're talking about that I would be like, I accept that as a truth.
Yeah, I don't remember the other few things, but the reason I remember that is because that was the first thing that you had said about like any kind of truths. And then I don't know, it just kind of stuck with me, and I was like, I was like, first of all, I know, just like thinking about it, I was like, first of all, you're tripping right now, which like you have obviously a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, maybe is the truth. You know what I mean? Like maybe you're in the truth right now, and I'm, like not in the truth.
Well, yeah, I'm not sounding like the crazy one.
No, it was just like
Maybe you're the crazy one.
Yeah, I mean, it just made me think about. I was like, maybe like I'm living in reality, right? But like maybe that's not.
Listen,
the
I
truth.
I understand when the argument is that people that do too many drugs, their brains get fried. I totally understand
Yeah.
that. But there's also a reason why we made all these drugs that open up your mind a little illegal, right?
Mm.
They don't want us to think the way that shrooms did
Yeah.
for me. Like to me, that was a truth in my mind. Like, yeah, they're trying to keep me off this for a reason, because
Yeah.
I just felt like I was looking at the world differently. Like there was no hate in my body. There was not a single filter. Like I remember my friend's mom had called, and I just remember telling her like, "Mama, I am tripping right now." And he like hit me in the arm. He's like, "Dude, we took edibles. Remember, we took edibles." I'm like, "No, like no, that's not what happened." Like I don't care. I truly did not care. Time did not matter to me. People's opinions did not matter to me. Like even now, like if work had found out that I did this, like I don't care. I really don't, because at the end of the day, like it's a natural thing. That's one thing too, is that at one point I was thinking about marijuana, and I was thinking about shrooms. I'm like, how weird is it that marijuana, shrooms, and myself are all on this planet, and they're here for me to consume them, and I get this effect to where I am looking at the world differently. Like how weird is that, right? And I feel like it'd be understood more if you had like done it, because it was just so like I never understood the word euphoria before, or nirvana. Like I had never understood that until I did it. I'm like, okay, now I understand. Like this is not something I ever want to fight. Like my ego had disappeared. Like I didn't care about the possessions I owned, the time I was living in, the work I had. Like it was all gone to me. you know. So yeah, even now it's just like, it is what it is. I did it. I like it. I'd probably do it again, you know, and it is what it is.
Yeah, because like then that's the reason why I was just like going through all these thoughts about that when you were just talking about the truth, because it is natural. It comes like it, you know what I mean? It grows. Like,
Yeah.
And it's like
You literally,
who's to say like
you don't
what
do anything to it. It
yeah,
literally just grows.
like you have to consume it obviously, but who's to say like what you're feeling isn't natural, right?
Yeah.
It naturally grows.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I went down my own spiral and I was high. But it was just an interesting, like, and I like that. I like, you know, that was an interesting perspective that I got from you. But yeah, I was just like, yeah, and I was like, man, this dude's having a good trip. It's pretty cool, you know, that it didn't go like like your friend, like didn't go south. But
How long did it take for him to like bounce back?
when I got there, he was fine. Like,
Oh, okay.
he was okay.
Dude, I was there the whole time.
Hmm.
Like, I remember at one point I said, like, I'm here physically, but mentally I'm not here. But I was, like I said, I was still very sober.
Mm-hmm.
And everything.
How long did it take for like the bad trip to end for him?
Oh, for my friend?
Yeah.
Probably when I started tripping. He was coming out of
for
it.
a couple hours.
Oh,
Yeah.
probably when I just got there.
Yeah, when I was coming out of it, yeah, definitely.
Mm.
I remember some of my friends showed up, right? And they had gave him something, and he was sitting there, and he was just like, and I was like, dude, you are fucking with him right now. He has no idea who you are. You should not be handing him things. You know? And he's
don't hand him things.
yeah,
right?
yeah. He doesn't know who he is, and he definitely does not know who you are,
It's
right?
funny.
And I remember his first friend showed up, and he was sitting there, and everyone else is standing at the kitchen table, and he's sitting there. He's like, he looked at me. He's like, "Am I in trouble?" He's like, "Am I in trouble?" I'm like, "No, dude, you're just tripping."
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, with the shrooms, it's like, it was funny because you guys were like the complete opposite of trips, and that's like,
Yeah.
and what James said earlier is as the ego death. And when I got there, I told Napoleon that I was like, "Oh, you went through like an ego death, like." You know
I
what
feel
mean?
like he didn't though.
Like, well, what I mean by that is that you have to kind of like piece yourself back together into reality. Because you don't really
okay.
know where you
Okay.
are and like what. But like you could also gain perspectives from that. But like there's like both sides of the ego death. Like, you know, some like people like you like
Yeah.
who have good trips and they're just like realizing things, and like you realize that
Yeah.
you know your ego doesn't matter.
And then there's the like you
And-
literally lose yourself.
Yeah, and there's
Yeah.
the ones
Fuck
where you
am I?
literally
Yeah.
fucking have an ego death and you just like
Uh-huh.
don't know who you are, and you have to just like sit there and collect yourself.
I can't wait for that.
Mm.
But my ego death to me that night, I remember talking to him about, you know, the ego, and that's what that is, you know. I remember him saying that, you know, he wants, he has a nice car, right? And he
Mhm.
wants like the V8 version of it, and he wants a house and this.
Mm.
And I told him, I'm like, that's your ego speaking,
Mm.
you know, like you got to give up on that, you know. And that to me is an ego death, like the idea that you need these materialistic things to
Mhm.
feel accomplished or satisfied in this world. Like that is your ego speaking. You don't need those things,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know. And yeah, and he kept talking about it. I'm like, this guy is not experiencing what I'm experiencing when it comes to the death of the ego.
Yeah, and I was telling him that too. I was like, it's not wrong to like strive to want like better things. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? But I told him that's not going to end, man.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, you got a
That's all
car.
that's gonna bring you
Yeah,
happiness.
like you got a car now. Like that's all you should really need. You know, like you shouldn't
Yeah.
need anything else. I was like, but I understand you want a better car. Like who doesn't want a better car, right? I was like, but when you get the better car,
You just want a better
yeah,
car.
you're just gonna be like, well, this one's faster, or like,
Mm.
Yeah.
oh, this one has more luxuries, or like even the space that you have. You know, we really don't need a lot of space to live. We need a kitchen,
Yeah.
bathroom, bedroom. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Technically. But you know, the fact that people want, you know, bigger, better houses is like, yeah, you want to live quote unquote better, but you know, when is it going to be the end? But yeah, I feel like yeah.
Yeah.
It's all
kinda-
just a competition. It's
Yeah.
all just like social strata.
Yeah.
Like competing against those around you or feeling
Yeah.
inadequate to those who are around you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to me, like another, like I guess not the. I mean, I've heard that you don't really ever have. it's you never have bad trips. Like you always learn something from whatever trip that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And like the Nego Death bad trip for me is like also learning like bullshit things that you do, and like why do I do that, and like realizing that you're not really being who, like you're not living up to like your potential, right? Or like just doing like scumbag things like here and there. So I was really hoping that one of you would go through that just to fucking experience that and see it.
That's what I've heard from like people I know who've taken it. They say they learned stuff about themselves that they just never realized.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, man, like I'm like I do this like way too much. Why do I do that?
Yeah.
Type of thing.
But that's the thing, like the fact that we will never come to those conclusions without like this drug, like what does that fucking say, right? Like, does it say that we actually need to like not everyone, obviously everyone doesn't need to do these drugs, but
yeah,
if you want to like dive deeper into, I guess, the way your mind works, like the first thing that comes up is psychedelics, or like drugs,
the thing I found funny is that like when I had asked you to take some and you said no, immediately in my mind I'm like, this dude is scared to deal with what's in his mind.
I'm scared.
I even remember asking my little brother, I was like, dude, we gotta do it. He's like, nah, not anytime soon. I was like, dude, we'll do it next weekend, and he's like, nah. And in my mind I'm like, this dude's scared, and I even called him out on it. He's like, nah, I'm not, I just don't want to do it. I was like, dude, you're scared, and it's completely fine to be scared of what's in your mind. And I understand it now because of doing it. Like, yeah, like things, like I said, there's no filter, like your brain is just working at a different pace. Like the next day I physically felt tired in my brain because of how much thinking I was doing. But also I remember telling my friend on the way home that I'm glad I had a great first trip. It didn't turn me off to this. Like if anything, I might become a shroom head. Like not every weekend, every day kind of thing, but at least once in a great while, I'd probably do it. With no fear.
Yeah.
But next time, I definitely want to have a bad trip. Like I want to know.
You want to take too much?
I want to know everything that goes on in here. I want to see how crazy it could get and how bad it can get, and I want to face that head on because.
Careful what you wish for, man.
Yeah.
I want to, I feel like that's the only way I can deal with things if I go head on through it. And maybe that's the wrong way of dealing with things, but I want to. And I was thinking about on the next day, I was thinking like, man, I really wish I meditated. Because I feel like I barely blinked that night. I feel like I was crying so much that like the moisture from that was keeping my eyes watered, but I feel like I barely blinked because whenever I blinked, I'm like, let's not do this, But I definitely wish that I had meditated that night and just explored some deep thoughts and just see where it took me.
Yeah, no, I'm deeply afraid. I am not scared to admit that. I am scared. One thing for me is that taking shrooms, it's not like smoking weed. Like that shit like ends in like what, 30 minutes, maybe close to an hour if you smoke it.
Yeah.
Man, you'll be tripping for like 6 hours. I'm like, dude, do I really want to trip for 6 hours?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for me is like I would have to block off a whole day.
Yeah.
Just to like do that.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I don't know if I want to fucking be high for that long, And I feel like that's already fucking with me. There's so many things fucking with me already going into it. Yeah. I'm just like, okay, I can't do this right now anyway. Yeah. I do plan to do it in my life, But it's just like, man, there's so many negatives already in my mind that I feel like if I took them, I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah. I think what I was scared of most was the taste. Like I was scared that it was going to taste terrible, and then I'd be like, yeah, I don't want to taste this ever again in my life. But I ate it and it was great. And then the trip ended up being great. So now it's just like I'm a fucking big proponent on it. I feel like everyone should do shrooms. Like I really do. It's so eye-opening. And the one thing I told my friend is like when I smoked weed in high school, it literally felt like a door was opened in my mind to like new thinking. And I told him, I truly hope that's what shrooms does to me here. Like I've always been fascinated with hallucinogens or psychedelics. Like I feel like there's something there that is going to help me figure out not only who I am, but to understand what the world is, So I told him, like, good trip, bad trip, I don't care. But I'm just gonna go with whatever I'm going through, and luckily I had a good trip, and I was just going with it and just enjoying the night.
Yeah.
Do you remember any
cool.
other conspiracy theories that we talked about?
We were talking about like COVID.
Yeah.
I think we were talking a little bit about the like lab leak theory. We were talking about. It was more along like life and.
Do you remember the fear one that I told you guys about?
No.
So there's a theory out there that we're born with two fears in life. I'm sure everyone's heard this. The fear of darkness and the fear of falling, right? Which is what they believe is ancestral. Like it took
primal.
It took years of development for us to have those fears. But there's some people in the world that are born with natural fear of dolls. Not explained, right? Like from birth, as soon as they see a doll, they're terrified, right? And there's a theory out there that if that's true with falling and darkness, why is that not true with dolls? Like, why are these people born with the fear of dolls for no reason, And there's a theory out there that what if there was something in our history that looks something like dolls that created that fear that is being passed down through generations?
Some like voodoo or black magic shit or something.
Who knows? Maybe it's aliens.
Hey, I ain't counting that out.
Doll-shaped aliens.
You don't know it, right? Just
maybe.
plastic face looking beings,
Yeah.
Who knows?
Maybe some other like species of humanoid
Yeah.
that we were at war with.
Yeah, just one of those string pullers on the backside of them. Just pull it.
Love me.
Dude, this is totally off topic, but I went to my barber shop on Friday and they had Mars Attacks on.
Dude, I just watched that a week ago.
That movie's so fucking funny, man. I was terrified of that movie growing up.
Really?
That movie is so funny.
Dude, it's such a weird movie.
Dude, I vividly remember being scared of that movie, and like everyone in my family was watching it, and like so there was like this hallway and then the living room. You could walk in the hallway and you could see the TV, but there was rooms on either side of the hallway. And I remember like being in one of the rooms, like peeking over and like waiting for the aliens to come on, and they would come on, and I would go back in the room because I was fucking scared of it.
Oh man, that movie is so fucking funny.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta see that movie again. Jack Black's in that movie.
Yeah, man, his character is so fucking weird.
He fucking fires his gun and the clip
fucking
falls out.
magazine, yeah.
That movie's so funny, man.
But yeah, man, it was
The guy at the end when he's accepting the medal. And then what was his speech? He's like, "Hey," he like pulls out a piece of paper. It had something to do with houses or something, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was just something so random, and everybody's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
But yeah, interesting.
I miss stupid movies like that.
Interesting experience.
Yeah.
Cause like even I felt like I was not going through it, but I was just experiencing it.
Yeah.
I was a part of that experience. It was pretty cool.
I kind of want to explain what I had said about COVID, right? Because it wasn't more of like an understanding of, like I had said, or accepting things of realizations or truths. It was more of accepting of myself, of what I'm capable of, right? So the theory is the lab leak, if it's man-made, whatever, and then there's some kind of level of like big brother control going on with vaccines and having, vaccine cards to do certain things, right? And I had really tried to dive into like why I had accepted that as a truth. And I think it goes back to something that Jordan Peterson also tries to teach, is at a certain point in his life, he was trying to figure out why the Nazis did what they did, right? Mm-hmm. How these normal Germans can go from being neighbors with Jews to end up, slaughtering them in camps or waging war across the whole world, right? And he came to the conclusion that he is capable of doing the same thing. We all are. At the end of the day, Germans are the same humans that we are, right? And I think that's the same thing I came to realize when I was tripping balls, is that if there was some kind of big, giant secret of control, some kind of giant level of malevolence, I am also capable of doing those kinds of things, even to the deepest root of evil, I am capable of doing those things. It was just my brain saying, like, don't think you're better than these people that you think there's this big conspiracy behind. You know, like, you're not. You are capable of doing these evil acts just like anyone else. But you won't. You know? And I think that's why I was, like, speaking the way I was, you know? So that's the conclusion I came to about it. You know, it's just like, I am capable of doing just as much evil as the next person, but I don't.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't seem like you were coming out of like a hateful place when you were talking about it. It was just like conversation, but yeah, I agree. That's it. I love awkward silences now. So
Oh, really?
let's get it on.
Now
You live in
didn't
it or
like
what?
to?
Yeah.
You used to hate him.
Yeah. Made me nervous.
Yeah, I don't know what else you guys want from me.
Yeah, I'm thinking if I have any other.
Trying to think of anything. I really wish that I remembered more of the truths that you were saying.
I was kind of relying on both of you on this one.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have got high. I just didn't want to be like that dude sitting there, like looking at you guys, like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
So when are you doing it again?
I don't know. I got a call 2 days ago.
To do it again?
Yeah, I was like, dude, I'm not trying to make this an every weekend thing, but I could definitely see it being a normal thing for me. The weird thing about tripping on shrooms is I still felt very more in control than anything. You know, like I definitely felt like I could walk down the street and be fine. You know, and I was telling these guys, this is like, there's a level of high you get off marijuana that you just are not in control, right? And you want it to stop. And I would much rather be tripping on shrooms than that kind of high, you know, where it's just like uncontrollable. But then again, there's moments where my friend could not control what was going on in his mind, you know, and I haven't experienced that. And I remember his girlfriend being like, all right, next time you do less and you do more. Yeah. And I was like, hold the fuck on.
I was
Like,
going to say,
let's
do you
calm
think
down.
you need to do more next time?
I don't know, because who's to say that amount wasn't enough for me to get to a higher level, and maybe like the food I congested or how much water I had taken might have
Like affected it?
in some kind of way, you know.
True.
But I had a great trip with an eighth of shrooms, so I'm gonna go with that next time and just live by that for now. And if it's not enough next time, then fuck it, let's ramp that bitch up. Let's do 3/8.
Eat a whole bag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time I think of shrooms too, I just think of Tenacious D. I don't know if you've seen that movie.
I have.
He's just like,
Oh, when with Sasquatch?
yeah, he's walking through the woods because he's walking back because like his friend had left him. He's like, oh, I'm so hungry. He's like, oh, good thing there's mushrooms right here. He just fucking stuffs them in his mouth. He eats them, and he just starts tripping balls. And he sees Sasquatch, and then he turns into like a baby Sasquatch.
What did you say? I wish you were my dad. He's like,
But I am JB.
yeah.
You're my baby Sass. And he looks at himself. He's like
You know, the one thing I also realized too is that I understand why, like, through history of humanity, like, there's been some kind of shaman, you know, that takes you through your trip. I understand that now, because the whole time I was asking questions towards the sober people. I'm like, what is going on right now? And they're like, I don't know. You know, like, I kept asking questions where I needed guidance. I'm like, is this normal? Like, to be seeing this? You know, is it normal that I'm hearing this? You know, like, is it normal?
Definitely, I definitely want to go to like the fucking Amazon and do an ayahuasca trip with a spirit guide. That'd be
The fucking
so dope.
natives.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
yeah. But yeah, would you say like you could do it every day if you wanted to? Like you would be fine with doing it every day?
Since I feel like such an adolescent when it comes to shrooms, I don't know if it's healthy to say yes.
I feel like it can't be healthy to feel something that intensely every day.
Yeah, because literally my brain felt physically tired.
Like zapped.
Yeah.
There's probably like a dopamine dump
And-
going on.
Exactly.
You need to give your brain time to like recover.
And also, like, I had diarrhea all the next day. Like that's a common thing.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So
Just gonna have
I don't know
diarrhea
if
every
that's
day.
fucking healthy. You know.
Yeah. But yeah.
New weight loss program,
But
but
then-
daily diarrhea.
Then again, the human body is very adaptive. So who knows? Maybe your body will just adapt to
Build it tolerance.
tripping that much.
Yeah.
I would put money that no, that's not healthy.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would, like I said, I'm pretty sure your brain would get fried at a certain.
Well, I was
amount.
just I was mainly asking because I wonder if I don't know, like the consumption of shrooms has diminished now, or if it was, or if it's ramped up now.
Mhm.
You know.
I imagine it's only going to get more because how much it's pushing towards being legal within
Yeah.
the states.
And the only reason I say that is because obviously we live very different and busy lives now compared to before.
Yeah, yeah.
And
What else can they be doing?
What? Yeah. Like what else? Like yeah.
Except
Like,
tripping,
you know,
right?
except doing drugs and like getting drunk.
Yeah, that's one thing. Let's not forget, like the Greeks and Romans, them motherfuckers were drunk and
Yeah,
high
dude.
all the time on all kinds of
Probably
shit.
smoking
Yeah.
opium.
Dude, like
And that's where like democracy came from. Is from those guys tripping balls.
Yeah, but they also died in like their 40s.
Very true.
Yeah.
That's probably from them tripping all the time
Yeah.
and having diarrhea.
get a cut, gets infected, just dies.
They just get stabbed, dude. Like, oh no.
They can't patch this up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, you know, like I don't know. It's just weird to think about.
Yeah, and also the same thing too is like I'm saying all these things off a good trip. You know, if I had a bad trip, who knows if I'd be saying the same things.
Yeah. Yeah, it might have changed your opinion.
Yeah. It is definitely mind altering. Like I did feel changed the next day. Like I was like I didn't talk to no one. Like I was literally quiet, like in my mind trying to dissect everything. And I still don't know what has changed in me. Like really, but I feel changed in some kind of way. And maybe it's like the level of like not caring. Like I really don't. Not in like a bad sense, but like I don't know.
You were contemplating
some-
you taking more
I really was.
Oh, yeah?
at the end.
Yeah.
It's like I don't care about anything right now. You're like, I will take more. I was like,
Yeah. I was trying to get this dude a microdose, and he was like, "Nah, I gotta work tomorrow." I'm like, "Fuck work."
I know. I was
That
like,
shit
yeah, bro. I
does
gotta wake
not
up.
matter.
I gotta wake up at 2:30.
That's just slavery with extra steps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, slavery, but you get to go home.
Been watching too much Rick and Morty lately.
Yeah, I think I'm willing to microdose. Honestly, I mean, just to lead up to it, because I mean, yeah, I'm deathly afraid.
Dude, what time is it? We could do that shit right now.
I gotta work it.
This guy's always got work, huh?
But like to put it in a tea or something, you know, just
Dude,
look
I
it.
would love that. Well, my friend was saying there's something called I think it's called lemon teching or something like that. But you,
Oh, Napoleon! God damn it!
I literally
Too
said
sorry
my
about
friend, and this guy throws out the name. God damn.
Maybe I just don't care.
But he was saying that you put the shrooms in like lemon juice, and you just throw that shit back like like a shot.
Interesting.
And apparently the lemon will also like enhance the high.
Mm.
He's
And I
saying
was
it
like,
dissolves it. It dissolves the mushrooms and it just turns it to.
And I was like,
liquid.
dude, I did not care because this was after he said we're doing an eighth. I was like, you know what? I don't care. However you want to do it, let's do it. You know, fuck it. Like, let's fucking do it.
Gotta put it on a slice of pizza.
He's the only guy in my life that like, if he calls me a bitch, this is like, all right, let's do it.
yeah.
And he knows it too, so it's just terrible. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely do it again multiple times in my life. And I think, what is it, psilocybin that's affecting you?
That's the name.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
like the.
It's only
Active.
fucking in your system for like 24 hours or some shit like that
Oh,
on a
really?
drug test. So it's like, who's gonna catch me, huh? You can test me tomorrow and I'll get away with it.
I would have got away with it too.
Yeah, if it wasn't for this fucking podcast episode.
But yeah, that's cool.
I honestly, after doing it, I feel like if there is any intellectual in this world that has not done shrooms, I feel like they are not a true intellectual. I'm not saying I'm an intellectual, but like doing those, just like it just opens a different kind of line of thought that I had never experienced before. Being able to talk to myself in like 4 or 5 different conversations and coming to different realizations, like it was something else. Like, yeah, it was amazing to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were telling me too, like you were a deeply closeted homosexual.
Yeah.
Oh, that came out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird.
And
Yeah,
and then you guys kissed?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you said the same thing.
And then you guys 69.
He wanted me to suck his dick, but I pulled out mine first.
I was like, but I'm not
and
gay.
guess who got on their knees first?
I knew it. When this guy said he'd rather drink cum, I was like,
I was kidding.
this guy doesn't even know what he's admitting right now.
I got that joke from Norm Macdonald. R.I.P.
R.I.P., man.
Peace, yeah. Sad loss in the
Yeah.
comedy world.
He was on Larry King, and he was like, Larry King was like, so is there anything you want people to know about you?
Oh,
He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I'm a deeply closeted homosexual. He's like,
Yeah.
but I'm not gay. And Larry King's like,
He looks so confused.
so what you're saying is you're gay? He's like, no. He's like, no, I'm just deeply closeted. He's like, but saying that is saying you're gay. He's like, whoa there, buddy. He's like, you gotta be careful, Mr. King, or something.
Oh, man.
I was like, dude, this guy is fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wasn't a Norm Macdonald fan, but I also knew the influence he had on other comedians.
Yeah.
And for him to die at what, 67?
No, he was younger, wasn't he?
I think he was around 60.
He was in his
Yeah.
60s?
Yeah.
I thought he was in like his 50s.
No, he was like, he's between like 61 or 67. I think it was 67 though. And I didn't even know he was going through cancer.
No one knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
No
one
one-
of those
really?
things.
No
It was
one
of
knew,
those
yeah, he
things
didn't tell
kept
anybody.
low-key.
Oh man, yeah.
I think what the aspect behind that is he didn't want anyone to treat him differently.
I see.
He wanted to keep things like normal
Yeah.
and just be funny. One thing, I was looking at a video of Tom Segura. He was talking about his death. It's weird to me how the funnier people sometimes don't get like the light that they should.
Mm-hmm.
And what Tom Segura was saying, that a story that, or something that he realized, is that the people that Norm Macdonald would hang around, like when he was on SNL, like Adam Sandler, like Chris Rock, David Spade, like all the fucking like, you know, monster comedians, whenever they would like try to, he was saying whenever they would try to like think of something and see if it was good, they would always look at Norm.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Mhm.
like does Norm approve? You know, because he was saying it's just because everyone knew like who was the funniest one, and the funniest one was the one that had to say, you know. And I was like, man, and it sucks though, because I feel like not people really know. People don't really know. I feel like if you said Norm Macdonald,
Yeah, they won't
a lot of
know.
people wouldn't be like,
unless
who?
they're in the comedy scene.
But if you said Adam Sandler, people are like, oh yeah, Adam Sandler, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, Adam Sandler's funny. Don't get me wrong, but if Adam Sandler's saying Norm Macdonald's funnier, it's
Yeah,
just like,
like,
why
what does that
couldn't
say?
why couldn't he get?
God damn it! I can't remember, but I was listening to Bill Burr's podcast, and he was saying the same thing along the lines that back when he was starting up and he wasn't big, he went to a show that had Joe Rogan and Norm Macdonald in it, and there was another comedian in the crowd, and he had come to the conclusion like, you know, I'm here trying to learn from these guys, but this guy's also in the crowd. You know, why is that? You know, and you know, it just showed the influence that Norm Macdonald had on comedy.
Yeah.
You know, and the one thing too, I forgot who I heard this from. It might have been Jordan Peterson again, but he said that he's always interested in listening to the people that he finds from the people he listens to. Like, you know, like the influences he has in his life. Who are they listening to, right?
Mhm.
What books are they reading, right? It's the same thing with comedians. Like, the comedian you find most funny, you know, what comedians are they listening to? What comedians are they learning from? You know, and Norm Macdonald was one of those people that
a lot of
people
would
were
talk
trying to
about.
learn from.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he has like a different kind of comedy, man. That's
Dude,
so good.
yeah, his shit's is just like he's pretty fucked up, but it's like good. It's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Have you guys looked at the have you seen his the video when he's on Conan O'Brien talking about the moth joke?
No.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's fucking hilarious.
Let's watch it after this.
Okay.
I got nothing going on.
But everyone should just look it up too if you want. But it's like, dude, what the fuck? But like that's his humor. It's like he'll just like lead you on this fucking like story, and then at the end it's just like
so weird. It's so weird.
all right. It's like so things are just like
it's like
so,
a different level of comedy.
Yeah. So like it's anticlimactic, but it's like it's like in a good way.
Yeah.
It's like you led me on this fucking whole journey for this. But like it's still funny. It's not like it's not like I'm saying that because it's shit. It's just like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But yeah, it sucks. And the fact that you could hide cancer, like from everyone that you know for like 9-10 years is like crazy. Man.
That's just the level of bullshit that we live in when it comes to the internet and social media.
Yeah. Especially that. Especially having.
There.
Yeah, especially there just being like all these forms of media now.
Yeah.
To still keep it a secret.
Dude, one of the most popular soccer stars in the world went back to his old team, Cristiano Ronaldo. He started at Manchester United. I did not know this, and he played his second game with them yesterday, and I saw the highlights of it. I'm like, whoa. I texted my friend. I was like, when did he go back to Man U? And he's like, dude, what are you living under a rock? I was like, I don't have social media anymore. I don't know these things, you know, because big sports moves are blasted all over social media. So when I saw that, I'm like, what the fuck? You know, like I might actually start watching again because it's my favorite team, you know, so I was like, what? And then seeing him score his first goal back in United, it was just like, it was something else.
But yeah, R.I.P. Norm.
Yeah. Do shrooms, kids.
Yeah. Just go pick a random mushroom from your backyard.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, they're all safe. They're all safe.
We are here for entertainment. We are not scientific news or anything that way.
That's what I'm saying. Go eat any kind of mushroom.
Don't listen to us. Let's wrap this mug up because I got to pee. Let's watch some Norm Macdonald comedy. I know you got. Oh, what time you got some shit tonight?
You got some
She's
shit
meeting
tonight?
me here.
Huh?
She's meeting me here in like 30.
She's coming in.
Perfect.
I got some time.
She's coming in.
No.
Oh.
No.
All
right, we'll go out there and meet her.
No. I gotta.
I'll be like, hey, you want to do some shrooms?
Yeah, my friend said he loved
she
you.
Might be down. Dude, don't tell her that.
I could
She's
get some in like 10 minutes.
She's gonna propose right then and there, bro.
All right, this was the Circle Podcast. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening to my story. Remember, only you can prevent forest fires. Don't let the man get you down.
I forgot his outro.
Don't let the white man get you down. And we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Oreo.
Yeah, great episode. Great to be back. Can't wait for the next 100. Once in, always in. Thank you for joining the Circle. Follow us on Instagram, Circle Pod, TikTok, The Circle Pod, YouTube, The Circle Podcast. Like and subscribe. Smash that like button. Hit the bell for notifications.
What he said. On that note, God bless America. MILFs unite. And God bless your mother.
Bye.
Good night, America.
Yer.